coming up, the Mega Dance remix of I Could Eat a Knob at Night.
Plus, of course, monkey news.
Yeah, and you know, if you've got any monkey news, by the way, just email it in. What is it? Podcast@rickygervais.com.
That's right.
But don't be asking any questions about monkeys and that, because there's too many people asking about what's going on in the monkey world and that. And I can't do it to everyone.
Well, you're gonna bring up any kind of big monkey information.
If they need to know that,
every week,
I'll have it every week. But it's just that a lot of people, you know, they've got a taste for it.
Talking of monkey news, if you want to learn more about Karl, we've just put up a big biography, and there's some pictures that you haven't seen before of Karl Pilkington, and you can go to rickygervais.com and check out the roundness of his head and some of his stupid ideas.
But anyway, talking of emails and that, right? Nick Decker, who's emailed from Australia, right, Melbourne. He's been going on about dolphins and that, problems with dolphins.
What problems?
He's just saying when that wind happened.
What?
There was like a bad wind thing going on, and
Not your Auntie Nora again.
There was a load of dolphins in like a bay.
Hold on, wait a minute. What bad wind?
In America, they had that
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was like a little bay with dolphins in it, and
right.
like, with all guns on them and stuff.
Whoa, rewind. What do you mean?
Do you know
dolphins?
they use dolphins, don't they? They say they're an intelligent animal and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've got them all like, you know, they've all had the training. They're all like ready for battle and stuff.
Right.
Got like rifles on them.
What do you mean rifles? How can they hold a rifle? How can they hold a rifle?
No, it's sort of on a strap and that.
What do you mean it's on a strap?
I don't know what they kit them out with, but they're just ready for war.
What are you talking about?
Listen though, that isn't the point. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we leave that one, do we? That's not the point, so let's leave it.
So they're swimming about and that.
Yeah, with rifles and berets.
Whatever they've got on.
Yeah.
Right, ready for battle and stuff.
Yeah, ready for battle, yeah.
The wind comes in.
The wind comes
Hurricane
in.
Katrina.
Makes a wave and that. They get out of the little bay.
Yeah.
Still all kitted out with all the, you know, weapons.
You're talking bollocks.
Steve, do you want to look at the email?
Well, there's no way. There's loads of dolphins now swimming round, kitted out with guns and that, with a strap. How can a dolphin hold a... Again, you've been watching Planet of the Apes.
They just say, you know, they say they're an intelligent animal and that.
Yeah.
People are trusting them. Right?
Brilliant.
Look, here's a dolphin.
Oh, he's trying to talk to us. What's he saying? He's saying, go ahead, punk, make my day.
Look,
you're talking shit.
It's just news to say, if there's dolphins, you know, if you see a dolphin in that, don't go, oh, it's friendly, because there's some with weapons now. So, I'm just reading it out on email, that'll cover it in that, so.
Bollocks.
And more animal stuff, right?
Mm.
Your girlfriend, Jane, right? When I was round there the other night, she was talking about, they're getting closer to doing the mammoth.
Oh yeah, they're genetically engineering it. They've they're a few sort of million bits and pieces away, but they reckon they're going to be able to build a living mammoth in 2 years. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently,
What sort of Jurassic Park type stuff?
Sort of, yeah. Yeah. What do you think of that, Karl?
Do we need them?
What do you mean?
Well, is it worth messing about? Because I always think, well, whoever's like knocking one of these together, right?
Yeah.
They must be pretty bright. Right?
Yeah.
So whilst they're messing about with an airy elephant, could they be doing more useful stuff that the world needs?
Well, it's sort of like, you know, it's fascinating. Even if on the face of it, it looks pointless, which it rarely is. Scientific discovery. It's about conquering nature, isn't it? I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? That you could bring a mammoth back. What are the implications to bringing a mammoth back? You know, could they aid the workload? Could they feed the starving? You know, there's
what,
applications.
So you're saying,
well, I'm not
bring
saying
it back
anything.
to kill it, to eat it?
Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying that rarely is scientific discovery pointless and a waste of time in the greater scheme of things. We learn from this, don't we? The fact that it can map DNA of a mammoth, what are the implications there? Could we bring back, I don't know, Churchill? Could we bring back Nelson? Would we want to? Is it moral? That's another question. But the feet alone, and I don't mean its feet, I don't mean we can bring back mammoth feet.
I could tell that was what he was thinking when his eyes moved.
Yeah, I meant the achievement alone is remarkable. Putting a man on the moon, pointless. But what a feat.
But don't you think...
Not impressed by putting a man on the moon?
No, we've chatted about the man on the moon, you know, some people like it, some don't. I'm not going to argue about it, do you know what I mean? If you were behind it and that, good on you. But I'm not that fussed. I don't think we've learnt that much from it. He went all that way, popped a flag up, came back. What have we learned about that journey since? We haven't really been back.
We conquered space. We just conquered space. That's what we do. We see what we can do. Why climb a mountain? Because it's there. What's at the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah, but I don't agree with people who climb mountain for the sake of it. It's all right if you've got to get over it, but don't go up and then go down again.
No,
just go for a good walk.
Well, I don't mind as long as they don't strain the emergency services. If you're a posh bloke going up the mountain in a beard and you get stuck, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then it's, people would have to risk their lives going to rescue you because you wanted to laugh. I agree with that, actually.
But don't you think the world's busy enough? It's like you can't hardly move. You know what I mean? And mammoths are taking up quite a bit of room if a load of them come back. We've already got elephants, which in my eyes are good enough. They do, they carry stuff about and that. What's going to be better, a mammoth or an elephant? Because I can see that one of them's going to have to go at some point. If like we start running out of elephants, would they say, well, it doesn't matter, we've got mammoths and stuff. So what's the point?
You don't need anyone else in the room for a conversation, do you?
No, but what
He's arguing with himself.
He's arguing with his own head.
Amazing.
Where would you put the mammoth if they get it going, right?
Yeah.
They pop it on give it the old electric shock and that, wake it up, and
Frankenstein has been watching.
and it's like,
all his information about science is about the Flintstones, Planet of the Apes, and Frankenstein.
In his head, they've got an elephant. They've put some carpet tiles over it, and they're trying to bring that back to life as a mammoth.
yeah, forget it then.
Carl, can we have some monkey news before I die?
All right.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, yeah.
This week, what I thought I'd do, right, because we're getting loads of emails from people who haven't really heard much of the monkey news that I've done in the past, right? And a lot of people are sending through one of the first ones that I did that was a good monkey news. I think it's worth hearing again, just in case you forgot about it, because it's sort of classic monkey news. I don't know if you want a different jingle.
Well, no, I mean, it's just, if it's anything that you've ever said, it's not true anyway, so carry on.
Well, it was a true one, because this is the one that, like, this is like world-known monkey news. A lot of people will send this through. It's the most popular one, right? And it's about this monkey that was knocking about called Ollie, right? It's called Oliver.
Yeah.
And it was in this zoo, and it was the only monkey in there, right? So
this is one they think was the missing link. It was half human, half ape. That programme on television, because it had bald. It looked like you, which doesn't mean it's half anything.
It might have been that one. What happened is it was in the zoo and stuff, and it was getting a bit lonely because, like, it was sharing its sort of time with, say, an elephant and a giraffe and
No,
that.
it doesn't happen.
And they didn't really
No,
get on that well.
Wait, they do
No,
not
let me just tell you.
They do not put chimpanzees in with...
No,
well, it's not true.
I know
Why
they
would he share his time with an elephant and a giraffe?
Gervais, it was some kind of flat share. They put an advert in the student union
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
we've got 2 rooms to let.
African mammal wanted,
Well,
not
anyway,
specific.
but
A mammoth and
what I'm saying is there was other elephants for elephants to knock about with and that. The monkey, it was the only one there. So what happened is the zookeeper
Right.
felt a bit sorry for him.
Right.
He was like, oh, look, he's looking all fed up and that.
Yeah.
And like you say, I think he went a bit bald because he was bored and that. So he started to sort of get pally with him. So at lunchtime, when the zookeeper was sat on the wall having his, like, ham butties or whatever, he'd sort of go, all right? And it used to come over closer and closer, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, within a month, he was sat on the wall having his lunch with him, right? And
What wall?
just a little wall in the zoo.
So they let the monkey out. The monkey could come and go. He had his own door key.
just near where the monkey is, it used to just pop
Oh,
over.
these blinking latchkey monkeys.
I know, yeah. He was 21. Yeah, go on.
Sit there having his butty and that
Yeah.
with the monkey and stuff. And anyway,
The ham
as
butty,
time went on, because the zookeeper back then, zoos weren't as popular as they are now. So it was only it was him on his own really. So he found like the monkey was the closest
Rubbish.
thing.
Absolute rubbish. The
to
zoo
another-
cannot run with one
This
zookeeper.
is a true thing. I mean, this
It's
is what
not,
I'm saying.
you
A lot of
know,
people.
it
But the
is.
height of popularity for zoo surely was in the Victorian era. So
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
what's-
You're
But anyway,
talking-
go on.
carry
Yeah,
on.
but
Okay.
you're sort of, picking up on little things that aren't
aren't
important.
important,
It
sure.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that
But
aren't true.
anyway,
Go
so
on.
he's sat there, and as time goes on,
Yeah.
he's sort of sat with him most of the day. Monkeys walking around with him, helping feed the other animals and that.
No.
But then what happened is the zookeeper at the end of the night when he's like locking up and stuff,
Yeah.
he'd feel bad because he'd be leaving the zoo. And like Ollie's sat there, and he's like, "I'll see you tomorrow." And the monkey's like, "Yeah, all right, see you later." Looking all fed up because he's got home to go to, and he's still stuck in where he's basically working every day. Right? So he's never going home, right?
Now he's sleeping at work, the monkey.
So anyway, the
Yeah.
zookeeper goes home, says to his wife, "Look, Ollie's having a bit of a time at the moment." So she said, "Oh yeah, what's going on?" He said, "Well, he's just looking a bit fed up. You know, he's sick of it." So she said, "Bring him home." So he said, "Well, I did want to ask, but I didn't want to force it. You know,
This conversation didn't happen.
So anyway,
I love that he's giving it in such detail.
Yeah, I know, it didn't happen.
So
this is
anyway.
in your head.
So she said, "Yeah, bring it home tonight." So anyway, he's looking forward to going into work and that. He sees Ollie. He doesn't tell him straight away.
It's a surprise for him later.
Oh, God.
So they go through the day, you know, usual stuff, feeding the elephants and all that. It gets to the point when it's like they have the lunch and that. It gets to the end of the day,
Yeah.
and sort of Ollie's there. He's looking at him like as if to say, "Well, there you go, another
Yeah,
day, another
sure.
busy day and that."
Little does he know.
See you tomorrow and stuff. Anyway, he's like, "Get your coat." He's like, "What?"
Coat? What do you mean, get your
No,
coat?
but whatever the equivalent is, right? Whatever you say to a monkey, it was kind of like, you know, "You coming with me," sort of thing.
Right.
So he's going, "Oh, brilliant." Anyway,
No, he's not!
so
What do you mean he's going brilliant?
He takes
Look,
it home.
so he gets his
right?
hat and coat.
He gets his hat and coat and stuff.
yeah.
And he
Can't
Go
believe
on,
he's locked, right?
yeah.
He goes back to the zookeeper's house. Everything's going well for about a week and a half.
Right. Has he
He's
got his
at
own
home.
room?
He still goes like to work and stuff.
To the zoo, yeah.
To the zoo.
He
and
doesn't
then-
work there.
And then he comes back with the zookeeper. But anyway, what ended up happening is, so anyway, he's back at the house, and it's going well for about a week and a half. Treating him really well. He's sat there, you know, he's having a brandy at night before he goes to bed. Zookeeper noticed that when he took it back to work, it was kind of getting flashbacks of not having a good time in the zoo, right? So he was like, this isn't helping him out. He's happy when he's at home with the brandy and the fags and that. When he comes back here, he's starting to look a bit fed up. So he said to his wife, "Look, you're at home all day, right?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to work. I'll leave it with you, right?"
Yeah.
So Ollie stays at home.
Yeah.
Anyway, as time goes on,
Yep.
a little bit of trouble. Whilst the fella's busy at work, grafting, paying the bills and that for Ollie at home, Ollie starts getting a little bit cheeky. Tries it on with the missus.
Right, whoa.
Right.
How does a
Carl,
monkey try it on with the missus?
Are you
Look, this
talking shit?
is classic monkey news. And
How does it try it on with
So
the
he's a
missus?
bit drunk. He stinks of smoke. He tries it on with the missus. How does he try it on with her?
I don't know all the detail on
You don't know
on that
any of
bit.
the
I don't know
details.
the detail on that bit. But
You don't
all I
know any of the
No, I don't know
details.
the details on that bit.
You
but
don't
I
know any of the details.
So what happened? So while the zookeeper's away, the monkey did play. What happened? Did the zookeeper's wife reciprocate these affections?
Just a little bit of like, you know, little bit of fun, I suppose. She probably went along with that at first. You know, she's cooking at home, getting the tea ready. That's walking past, pinching her arse or whatever. And it's, do you know what I mean? It starts off just like it does, you know, with humans. Starts off as a bit of fun. Before you know it, you know, split up in the end. Anyway, the zookeeper and the what's it? I think the monkey stayed with the woman. So, it's all there. It's
Honestly,
all on email, mate.
your imagination.
Well,
you
look
should
it up.
write stories. You
Get
should
people-
write. You
Get
know.
people to look it up. Just put in monkey, chimp, Ollie, and it's all there.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Happy New Year, particularly to those great guys at Positive Internet for hosting this podcast.
Dynamite.
The world's #1 podcast, thanks to the guys at Positive Internet. So, check out rickygervais.com to check out Carl's head. You know, go and buy extras and flannels. Check it out on flannels.com.
Oh, come on, this is shameless.
Um,
Extras still available.
fridge freezer for sale, £400 or nearest offer.
Steve Merchant wishing you a happy new year. I'm sure Karl Pilkington wants to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know what I want to wish them? I want to wish them a fantastic New Year.
Nova night. I could eat a Nova night.
Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night.
Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night.
Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night.
Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night.
Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night.
Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night.
Nova night. Nova night. Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night.
Nova Night. Nova Night. Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night.
Afrika Nova Night.
Afrika Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night.
Afrika Nova Night.
Afrika Nova Night. Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night. Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night. Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night. Nova Night. Afrika Nova Night.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Welcome to the 6th podcast in a series of 12. The Ricky Gervais Show, available online with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington.
Alright.
Halfway through after this then, Karl.
Yeah.
You enjoying it?
It's alright, isn't it?
It's had a great response. We're the #1 podcast in the world. We've had thousands of emails and messages, and it's just great to know that people all around the world are listening. Don't you think?
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
I should just point out, Rick, that we've had a few emails, including one from Mark Pavlidis, that says that some of the people listening on the enhanced podcast, so, you know, these fancy people, super rich people who can afford that one, apparently sometimes if they try to pause the show halfway through, it sort of freezes, and they've got a problem restarting it. And he's saying that apparently you should just hold down menu and select, and that'll reboot it. So I don't know if you have had that problem.
Hold on. Who's pausing this show halfway through?
I don't understand it.
I can't believe it. This is like a book that you can't put down.
What have they got that is better to do
I
with
don't
their
know.
time?
What can be better than listening to Karl's drivel and his stupid theories? Unbelievable. We've got a little email straight away, Karl, from Nikki in Beverly Hills, California. She says, Karl, you rock. I hate it when Ricky and Steve ridicule you. I checked out your picture on rickygervais.com. Although your head is not normal, that's no reason to ridicule you. You look gimp, but I never judge a book by the cover.
Cheers.
That's not what you've got to say.
Well, it's only 'cause I've got no hair though, isn't it? That's why it gives that effect.
No, it's perfectly round your head. It's perfectly spherical head. Your face is slightly too big for it. It almost goes over the sides. Perfectly round head. Pug little nose. Funny gimp eyes with no expression. Hangdog look. Like a little mouth, like a little lamprey, not formed, not human formed. The way your expression is like you've had a lobotomy. Your head goes weird at the back. It's got a little nod in it, like it's really strange, your face. And you're stupid.
We've had a lot of emails saying that. I mean, I think he's just paraphrasing, but... talking of emails, you know, a couple of, I can't remember which show it was, but you mentioned, Karl, that you'd only recently seen a, Chinese homeless person.
Oh, yeah.
And it really surprised you because you'd never seen
I've
a
never
Chinese
seen one
homeless
before,
person.
no.
And I actually went along with that. I've still never seen a Chinese homeless person.
Well, that's, other than obviously people contributing monkey news, the search for Chinese homeless people has been overwhelming on the email. People are just, people are actually going out looking for Chinese homeless people. Now, I can just tell you now that there's a few responses from Los Angeles, people saying there are quite a lot of Chinese homeless people over there because apparently there's a huge homeless community in Los Angeles. So definitely if you want to see them, Karl, that's the place to go. But we've had one from Vancouver, Canada, from a girl called Amy, and Amy herself is Chinese, and she says that she realised herself that she'd never really seen a Chinese homeless person. And although she says that apparently Vancouver has the first or second largest Chinese population in Canada, she'd never seen them, and she actually went for a walk around the Chinatown in her area looking for them, and she could not find any on that particular day. So again, Canada obviously not a place to go for a Chinese homeless.
It was just a point though. I don't want people sort of...
Well, hold on though. Wait, I'll stop you there. Hello, Ricky, Steve and Karl. I live in New York City and have seen a Chinese homeless person. Not only is he Chinese, but he is also a midget. He's been living on the streets for the last 30 years. He used to dress in rags, but thanks to a coat drive, he's now wearing a fancy Adidas jacket, right? Now he encloses a picture. He says he gave him $10 to take the picture, and I've seen it, and he's a little Chinese midget fella.
I'm just getting a bit worried that people are going out there sort of looking for these. What do you mean?
Well, hold on though. Wait, I'll stop you there. Hello, Ricky, Steve and Karl. I live in New York City and have seen a Chinese homeless person. Not only is he Chinese, but he is also a midget. He's been living on the streets for the last 30 years. He used to dress in rags, but thanks to a coat drive, he's now wearing a fancy Adidas jacket, right? Now he encloses a picture. He says he gave him $10 to take the picture, and I've seen it, and he's a little Chinese midget fella.
I'm just getting a bit worried that people are going out there sort of looking for these. because you know,
Well, that's what you
anything could-
requested.
No. But all I was saying is, I saw one. I didn't start saying, "Excuse me, can you just give us a smile? I'm taking your picture." Do you know
Well, we've
what I
had
mean?
loads of pictures of people.
I know, and it worries me a little bit. And I mean, it's not too bad about the one who took one of a little midget one, because you know, if he kicked off, it'd be quite easy to sort of hold him back. But I'm talking about fully grown.
So is that your warning to people? Don't be taking pictures of fully grown Chinese homeless.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, you know, don't be messing about going up to strangers and that and annoying them and stuff, right? Maybe.
Well, I
not.
think that's a good rule of thumb. Don't annoy them. But I mean, but that is a hell of a sighting, isn't it? We asked for a Chinese homeless, and they gave us a Chinese midget homeless.
Many of the listeners are aware, Carl, that you're sort of fascinated by smaller people.
Well, he's fascinated by difference, I think.
Yes.
I don't think he's having a go at people. You're not
Never having a go.
when you sort of stare at someone because they don't look like you, and let's face it, most people don't look like you. You're not having a go, are you?
Well, it's like
You-
I say, first time I saw Steve, I was never having a go. It was just, oh, that's different. but you know, like you know, Steve, I was never having a go. It's just that thing of, oh, right, interesting.
What do you mean?
No, just you know, I've said before about when I saw Steve and what have you. Now I've got used to it, and
Steve,
it's the
got
same.
used to it. What do you? What
I don't know. Well, you know my feeling with this. I don't really know where he's coming
but
from. with
Steve
it.
knows I'm not having a go either.
Yeah.
Carl used to carry around a book that was called the top 50 freaks of all time.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that, because we actually had an email from Richie who says that he's been a fan of ours for many years and he's listened to lots of the radio shows we've done in the past and things. And he says, of all the people you've discussed, Carl, in the past, including some of the people from your kind of odd magazines, who would you most like to spend the day with of all those people that you've encountered?
Favourite of all.
Well, certainly who you would want to spend time with, who you feel would be the most fascinating, the most interesting. You know, I mean, let's just recap on
Well, there's
some of the...
Pillow Man, the bloke with no arms, no legs that can roll a cigarette with his mouth.
Yeah.
No, not impressed with him.
That's not sufficient.
What about the three-legged juggler?
So hang on, let's just recap for new listeners. This was a man with 3 legs?
3 legs, right?
Right.
And it said his job, he became a juggler.
Okay.
Not using the gift that he'd been given.
What would you, what you suggest?
Anything. Running, swimmer. Just, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What else
what are
was
the
there?
others? What are the other ones?
There was a picture of a gentleman you were fascinated by him. He used to play the piano.
Oh, he's got a tiny head, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's that. That's the one who he sort of ages fast.
Right.
So like every other week he's having a birthday and stuff. And yeah, that was weird.
He's not having a birthday every other week. His body's just aged, so it has the appearance. His biology is sort of like he's 70, but he's only like 15. They don't have a birthday every week. You idiot.
But yeah, I don't know about knocking about with one a long time though. That's
Only for a day?
yeah. Suppose it depends what I'm up to. Because if we're going out and about, the Pillow Man would just be a bit of a drag.
Whereas if you're going for a walk across, the 3-legged guy, ideal.
So yeah.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Lots and lots of people emailing just with questions for Carl. People just want to get his opinion on stuff. So if you have questions for Carl, keep them coming in. podcast@rickygervais.com. We can't really reply to your emails, but we do read them, so we really appreciate them coming in. Just a couple of quick ones for you, Carl. Wendy says, if Carl had to eat the same dinner every day for the rest of his life, what would he eat? She mentioned this because she was having Christmas dinner and it was a big, she loves Christmas dinner.
It's the trouble with Christmas dinner. I mean, the roast dinner is the king of dinners, and the Christmas dinner is the king of roast dinners.
Yes.
But you can't have one every day.
No, it's absurd.
But it's brilliant.
We have 3 meats in our house. at
It's
Christmas.
unbelievable. The amount of meats
Yeah.
is just amazing. It's just a plate of meat.
It's just meat.
With
yeah.
one Brussels sprout, one
Yeah.
token Brussels sprout and the gravy. Oh.
You see, it depends, doesn't it? I mainly eat just so I keep going. I'm not that bothered about, because I don't really taste it anyway. I just shove it down.
You're like a like a
dog.
horse.
But at what point did it become important that things were sort of, seasoned or garnished to go with it and stuff? At the end of the day, we're all eating, aren't we? So you can move about and that, and you've got energy.
Well, we need to know what we're tasting, don't we? Because we need to have certain things. We need sugar, we need salt. So we need to know what they taste like to know we're getting them.
No,
'Cause
but
your body
now we've
craves
got
them.
chefs, so leave that up to them to make sure we're
But I
getting
thought
enough
you were
salt.
talking about an evolutionary standpoint and how it evolved. Not there was a little
Do you
chef
think that's
in
likely?
No, but leave it for them to make sure, we're getting safe food. I mean, to be honest, it annoys me the way people worry about food now and how there's so much to choose from. I think it's got out of hand. I'll watch...
Any form of choice really worries you, doesn't it?
No,
you
it's
don't
just,
like choice.
No, choice is good, but not too much. It's like with anything now, if you go into a toffee shop, there's like loads of different...
Where are you going to find a toffee
So
shop?
you're in a fairy tale.
Yeah, you're in a Dickens tale in the 19th century.
You're in Shrek. And
you go into a toffee shop.
What's your point? You go into a toffee shop.
What I'm saying, you go into a shop full of toffees.
You just come from the candlestick maker.
Right? You go in there and there's just too much choice. It's like, what? And I can stand there up to like 4 minutes, sort of going...
Up to 4 minutes.
So specific.
4 minutes.
So he's in a toffee shop in a top hat.
Well, he's only got 4 minutes. He's only got 4 minutes because he's got to get down to the pea green boat that he's sailing off in.
No,
Good morrow.
Well, forget the toffees.
Can I have some of your finest Oxfordshire toffees?
So you'd prefer it was just one selection of toffee, that's all they've got?
Well, maybe two. What I'm saying is, right, there's now too much choice. Whenever you get a menu in a restaurant, it's not like you don't just go, oh, right, what is there? Yeah, I'll have that. There's too much. It's like a book now, isn't it? And you look at it all. And then you've got to that point now that people are even taking a risk when they're eating.
What do you mean?
In Japan or China or something, they're eating that fish that if it's not cooked right, it can kill you, right?
Yeah.
Not worth the risk when there's so many other fish.
Yeah, I agree. Why
have mackerel, have a bit of cod or whatever.
Yeah,
as soon as there's a risk, take it off. Take it off the menu.
agree. I totally agree.
Not worth
it. We've got a fish that might or might not kill you. Well, is there anything that definitely won't kill you? Yeah, but a chicken won't kill you.
I'll play safe then, I'll have that.
I love that. I love the chicken.
That's what I'm saying.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
But anyway, we were talking about sayings and that. Stitching time saves 9. Don't. I'm never going to use that. I don't think anyway. Right?
Okay.
Suzanne
You're never going to understand it fully, are you?
Suzanne repairs me stuff anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But what about the one? About the one in greenhouses and that?
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah.
What?
Does that confuse you? You've never understood that one?
No, that's a lot clearer, isn't it? It's sort of saying, don't be chucking stuff about if you're surrounded by glass and what have you.
Yeah, but don't forget, it's an analogy, it's a metaphor, it's not to be taken literally. It's not really just talking to people who live in glass houses. It's saying,
Hang on, sorry, before you say that, Rick, I'm intrigued to know if he's fully got to grips with this. Just
Okay.
give us your explanation again of what you'd take that to mean.
Well, just don't be chucking stuff about. Really?
so, well, if that was it, they just say that.
No, but that saying's been around a lot longer than we think. That's when people probably did live in basic glass houses and stuff.
No, whoa,
what they mean now.
Who has ever lived in a glass house?
So cavemen went from rock to a nice crystal structure, did they? What are you talking about? When did people live in glass houses?
What they mean now, when that saying's used now, they mean sort of, plasma tellies, ornaments.
No, they don't.
You're saying don't chuck stuff about because
No,
you'll break it.
No, it's not about damaging your own property.
They don't mean you're inside the glass house throwing rocks inside your own glass
It's
house.
a metaphor. It means don't be having a go at people if you yourself have got more to lose. Do you know what I mean? It means it could be anything. Don't start a war where you could come off bad as well. It's about how fragile your situation is. If you live in a glass house, metaphorically, don't throw stones at someone else, because when he throws it back at you, your house is more easily damaged than his. Again, metaphorically.
It doesn't mean that if you're living in a glass house or in a house with other precious objects, you don't, in your own home, throw bricks about. Because that would be a very specific audience that I was trying to reach, that phrase. I mean, let's be honest, what kind of a mental
Do you know
case?
what? I think we've got the crux to this, right? I think I can answer. Right. Carl, what is an analogy?
It's sort of like a little story told quickly. Isn't it?
It's a little story told quickly. To what end?
Well, it depends what the story is.
Okay.
Depends.
Give me an analogy.
Well, for me, I thought a one with the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a greenhouse. Before it was just a glass house.
Yeah.
Alright, then a glass house.
Okay.
Right. What I mean is that glass house is metaphorical. It's about the fragility of your situation as compared to your aggression or your...
You see, I just prefer sort of, what you say is what you mean. So people who live in a glass house have to answer the door.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Because
you may be a genius, because I don't get that. People who live in glass houses have to answer the door.
Okay, let's hear his explanation.
Because the people knocking at the door will be able to see you because it's a glass house.
But what?
But you literally mean it, don't you? There's no analogy there or metaphor for you. You literally mean if you live in a glass house and
go
someone
onto the
knocks the door. So there's no hidden meaning there, is there?
Well, normally...
Couldn't that also, but you have to add a number of other things, other caveats. Surely, if you live in a glass house, don't walk around naked.
Yeah.
If you live in a...
But these are literal. See, if you could actually make that into quite a nice saying there, because if that meant, if someone said that to me and they weren't a shaved chimp, right? If they said people who live in glass houses have to answer the door, I think that means, yeah, it means that there are no secrets. You can't hide behind anything. If you're very open, if you've chosen to be totally open all the time, you can't go back on it. So people, if you wear everything on your sleeve, if you shout around and you tell the truth, you can't go back on it. They can see through you.
It can mean that as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's handy. But just the idea that in your head there should be sayings for people who live in glass houses. Who is it that's living in a glass house?
Well, I'm not talking about them. It's just that if everyone else is bringing up about these people who are living in glass houses, let's get to the real problems they've got.
He still hasn't got to grips with the idea of the metaphor or the simile.
People who live in glass houses should live near a glazier.